Is it possible? Is it really possible to go to Walt Disney World for less than $1,000? Yes, it is. And in today's video, I'm going to share a few tips and tricks to go to the place where dreams come true for less than $1,000. Now, before I dive into the details, I do want to tell you that I don't personally recommend all of these tips to you. The reason is because I like to experience Disney a certain way. There's a certain feeling of the magic that I get when I stay on site or I go to certain dining locations, and with these strategies, it takes those away. So I'm just giving them to you for you to decide what's best for you. I have made several videos about saving money at Walt Disney World, what I recommend cutting back on and what I recommend not cutting back on. You can find more of those videos on my channel and linked in the I button right there, but I've been asked the question so many times, Michael, tell us about those extreme money saving methods. So today, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's hop right into it, and the first thing to discuss, how you get to Walt Disney World. Now, if you're coming from overseas, obviously you're going to have to fly to get to Florida and the Orlando area. But for those who live in the United States and don't live in the immediate vicinity of Orlando, you have to ask yourself a question. Am I flying? Am I driving? Am I taking a bus? Am I taking a train? How do I get there and save the most money? When I was younger, my family and I drove to Disney World once or even twice a year, and every single year we would take the same car. We had a 1995 Suburban, and we would all pack in the car with everything we needed and head on down. It would take 15, 16, maybe 17 hours depending on traffic, and then we would be at the place where dreams come true. Now, we don't own that Suburban anymore, but when we drove it to Florida, it got about 15, 16, 17 miles per gallon to get down there. Talk about a gas guzzler. Needless to say, it cost a lot of money to fill up the tank on that car, but when I was younger and we used to do these drives, the cost of gasoline was a lot less, so it made a lot more sense for us to drive rather than fly. While the price of gasoline has increased over the years, the miles per gallon that most modern cars get has also increased away from 15, 16 up towards maybe 25, even 30 miles per gallon for most larger cars. Depending on the size of the family and how many people would have had to fly or take a train, it would probably be still less expensive to drive rather than fly from the DC area. It becomes a very you-specific question very quickly. How many people can fit in the car? How many miles per gallon? Can you fit all of your stuff with you on the car? Or do you have to buy something to put on top? Does it have to be more than one car? How far away are you? Do you have to stop over? All of these things you have to think about when you're considering traveling to Walt Disney World. On top of that, you also have to consider food that maybe you would pack in the car and how much time you'd have to take off work to accommodate all of this driving time. Is it worth it to you? Very specific questions that really depend on your situation. Next up for saving the most money possible is lodging. If you're driving to Walt Disney World or have a car with you, it makes this next decision much easier, but if you don't have a car with you, it can make it a lot more complicated. I'm going to touch back on that. If you're driving or have a car with you and you're going to Walt Disney World and want to save every dollar possible, I would consider looking at the off-site resorts.
Fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
Wait a minute, Michael, you told us in an earlier video that the advantages of staying at Walt Disney World far outweighed the disadvantages to you. Are you changing your opinion on this? No, I have not. I still believe that staying on site at Walt Disney World makes the most sense for a lot of different factors, including transportation and convenience. There are a lot of different things. But if you're looking to save every dollar possible, then looking at those off-site hotels does make sense. Many of the off-site hotels also have their own transportation to and from the parks, which can make it a lot easier so you don't have to pay the parking fee at every Disney park. Staying off-site also makes sense if you're considering trying other parks in the area. I'm biased toward Disney, you know that, but I also wanted to mention that. Now, if you're flying or don't have a car with you, let's get back to that and how it can be a little bit more complicated. One of the reasons why I love staying at Disney resorts is because of Disney's Magical Express. It's included with the price of my stay, and it takes me to and from the Orlando International Airport. I don't have to worry about a thing. My luggage is taken care of. It is so convenient and easy. But if you're not staying at a Disney resort, you have to consider other transportation methods to get you from the airport or wherever you're coming from to the Disney area. Some of the off-site resorts in the surrounding area do offer a shuttle service to and from the Orlando International Airport, but it's not very common. Some of them do, some of them don't. It's just something to look into. If they don't, you also want to consider how much the cost of a taxi or an Uber would add to and from the Orlando International Airport, and is that worth the cost of staying off-site, or does it kind of offset it a little bit and then you can stay on-site? Just something to calculate as well. Again, this is a very personal decision and depends on your situation. You have to decide, is the off-site hotel that's maybe a few dollars less than the All-Stars worth it to you? Just something that you have to think about. Next up, let's talk about food. To save the most money possible on food at Walt Disney World, and it's a little bit of an extreme measure, but you can pack sandwiches and maybe bars to eat while you're there, maybe even in the parks. As long as it doesn't require heating, you should be fine to bring it with you. You can tell I have a lot of hesitation in recommending that just because I love the food at Walt Disney World so much and I really feel like it's worth the cost, but the counter argument, if you can save that money even just for a day or two worth of Disney food and use it toward another day in the parks, is that worth it to me? Absolutely. I would take more days in the parks over the Disney food any day, but that comes down to you and what you want. So now we come to an expense that doesn't really have much of a workaround. It's the Disney park tickets. Tickets to the Disney theme parks are no doubt going to be one of the most expensive parts of your vacation, but there is an interesting trick that a lot of people don't know about that can save you a lot of money, especially on longer trips. When you get the Park Hopper Plus option, formerly known as the Water Park Fun and More option, you have the ability to go to the water parks the same number of days that you're going to the other Disney parks. So let's say you get a 4-day Park Hopper Plus ticket option, where you have the opportunity to go to Disney parks on 4 different days and you can hop in between them if you want, but I usually don't recommend it, especially on shorter trips. Along with those 4 days of the Disney theme parks, you also get 4 days of the Disney water parks. So potentially you can buy a 4-day ticket and have 8 days of Disney fun. And we can take it one step further to save the most money possible, maybe a 3-day Park Hopper Plus ticket, go to 3 days worth of Disney parks, 3 days at the water parks, and maybe 2 days exploring the resorts and going to Disney Springs, saving the most money possible. Now don't forget, when you get that Park Hopper Plus ticket, you can mix up the days. So maybe Magic Kingdom and then a water park and then Epcot and then another water park. You can mix them up just as long as you go to the different parks within 14 days of the first use of your ticket. So given that scenario, let's say we have a family of 4 who are driving, bringing their own food for everything, not eating out anywhere, maybe only buying 2 days worth of tickets, but also getting the Park Hopper Plus option so they can go to the water parks. Is it possible to go to Walt Disney World for less than $1,000? Yes, it is definitely possible, and I have a feeling there are some in our Disney family who have stretched that $1,000 for a very nice vacation. It's just something to consider, what is best for you and your family. Now, I do want to reiterate that I don't recommend every single one of the items that I spoke about in the extreme budgeting of this video, but who knows how to have the best vacation for you best? You do. So you decide what is best for your family. This video is just to give you some of the tools and the knowledge to decide what is best. Let me know if you're planning on using some of these strategies in the future to save the most money possible when going to Walt Disney World, or maybe you've tried these strategies before and have others to add. Don't be afraid to let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.